Welcome to Fitness by Design, the podcast where we engineer optimal health, energy, and confidence for corporate men without having to sacrifice your career. I'm your host, Coach Spencer, and I'm here to help you navigate the intersection between fitness, your career, and your life with strategies that actually work for your busy lifestyle. So let's get into it. So let's be real in this very first episode. Most corporate guys aren't failing in their fat loss journeys because they're lazy or unmotivated. It's because they're following advice that's completely wrong for their lifestyle. So today we're going to break down why all the advice that you have been following, things like cutting out carbs, skipping meals, or just doing endless amounts of workouts or cardio, has actually been setting you up to fail in your fat loss journey. By the end of this episode, you'll know exactly why these methods don't work and the mindset shift that you need to make in order to finally get results that last forever. So let's dive right into it. Here's the deal. You don't need a perfect diet to lose weight. You don't. It's just not a real thing. Think about it. How many times have you packed salads for lunch, skipped breakfast just to try and save calories, or you've avoided carbs like they're the plague or some poisonous thing that's going to absolutely kill you? And then by the end of the day, you're just miserable. You've given up entirely on that diet. The weekend comes around and you just binge on pizza, wings, and beer for the whole weekend. And then you come into Monday and you're like, well, I guess I got to start that again. Does that sound familiar? Because I know it does for me. That used to be my cycle for years and years, where I would just overly restrict, and then I would binge on the weekends, and then I would start again on Monday. It's the same old story. Oh, I'll start again on Monday. I'll start again on Monday. Not gonna work. And it's because these perfect diets aren't actually sustainable, especially for guys like us who are working in, that management lifestyle in corporate. We're dealing with all these demands of our schedule, our project deadlines, and honestly, like real world responsibilities outside of the office. And here's a hot take and maybe a really harsh truth. You don't need to cut out pizzas or skip happy hours to lose weight. You just need to find a happy balance between all of it. It's just like your career. Do you need to be working 24/7 to be successful? No, you don't. And I know that's probably like this great big take that everybody is like, fucking come on, Spence, because I know I was there when I was 21, 22 years old. I thought I had to be always on the clock. I thought I had to have my emails on my phone, my team's pinging all the time just to be able to be there, be present, because I was like, well, if I'm working 24/7 and I'm always working, then I know I'm going to excel and I'll get promoted faster. I'll move up the corporate ladder. But it's not the reality. Like once you hit 30, you realize like working 24/7 actually fucking sucks. And you're not going to do it because it's just not sustainable. You have a life. You have potentially a spouse. You might have kids at this point. You have other responsibilities and things going on in your life that you can't simply be attached to your desk 24/7. You need to focus on the tasks that move the needle each and every day, though. The things that are going to get your deadlines done. The things that are going to make sure you don't have an inbox overflowing every single morning when you come into the office and just want to freaking throw your computer out the door. Your fitness works the same way, though. But that said, let's tackle the next piece of this. More cardio does not equal more fat loss, guys. Have you ever noticed how the guys that are grinding it out on the treadmill or they're sitting in those crazy-ass group classes every single day, see the same people showing up to every single group class for years on end, and they always look the same week after week, month after month, year after year? They've never changed. Their physique is always the same. It's because cardio and these crazy group classes where they just have you doing like CrossFit and all this other crazy crap, and you're just trying to boost your heart rate to boost your metabolism, it just doesn't work. It's not a magic bullet to losing more fat. Again, these are people that are going to these classes and doing all this cardio, and they look the same every single year. They never look any different. And sure, cardio burns calories, group classes burn calories. You know what else burns calories? Weightlifting, walking, standing up at your desk if you have a standing desk. Cardio is time consuming, and it does not address the root cause of the weight that you've actually gained, which is unfortunately years and years of poor nutrition and just a lack of sustainable workout plans. You've tried all of the crap. You've done all the internet stuff, and it never works and it never sustainable. Sure, you might lose some pounds. You might lose 10 pounds, but then you put 12 back on. You might lose 20 pounds, but you put 25 back on. If you're listening to this podcast, it's probably because you've been in that cycle. You lost the weight and then you put it back on and then you can't lose it again, or you try the thing that worked before. And now you're just in this endless cycle of trying over and over and over again because you've never found that sustainable solution, something that you can do every single day that makes it just feel like you're almost on autopilot. And now here's the kicker, and this is probably going to ruffle some feathers, but bodybuilders and influencers are not corporate people. Most of them have never even seen the inside of an office building, let alone sat behind a desk friggin' 9 hours a day, grinding out deadlines, dealing with other stupid people in the office, the colleague that is working, and you're like, how in God's name do you have a job? Because I'm working twice as hard as you or more, and you get paid more than me. What the hell's going on here? Bodybuilders and influencers online don't understand that. They've never had that experience. They don't understand what the corporate grind actually is, even though their Instagram bio says, I help busy professionals. And come on. And these are the people that swear by fasted cardio or doing 2-a-day workouts. And let's be honest, they've built their entire lifestyle around living in the gym. That's literally what bodybuilders get paid to do. Bodybuilders don't make money if they don't actually show up to the gym and don't work out and don't do their nutrition. Like, that's how they make money. That and selling you shitty coaching programs. But that's not who you are. And that's not who you should be. Because if you start trying to work out and train like a bodybuilder, you're never going to sustain it. I can tell you that from my own personal history because it took me nearly 10 years to learn that lesson, that you cannot train like a bodybuilder going to the gym twice a day, every day, 6 days a week, doing cardio for 50 minutes twice a day. It's just not sustainable. You're not going to be able to do it for more than a couple weeks. You're going to see results, but then you're going to fall off the bandwagon. When you fall off, you're going to fall off hard because those bodybuilding programs, those workout programs that you find online are incredibly restrictive. It's just not possible. It's not who we are. And again, this might ruffle feathers, but you're not too busy to be in shape, bro. I hear this all the time. Well, I don't have time. Oh, now's not the right time. Oh, can we talk next week? I got a deadline. No, man, we can't. Because the reality is, if you want to change, you can make a change. You just have to choose to make that change. You're not too busy. You're not too busy to get in shape. You're choosing not to. That's the choice that you're making. Because the reality is, if you're able to manage your deadlines, you're able to make it to all your meetings and hit all of your family obligations, which you need to be doing. And I've been in that situation. I'm still in that situation. I just got home from my commute 20 minutes before I recorded this podcast, and it took me 2 hours to get home because traffic sucked. I've been in your shoes, but you're not too busy. You're just choosing not to focus on it, and you're choosing not to make that move. And that's why I tell you, like, if you're too busy, that actually might be a really good thing. And that sounds counterintuitive and ridiculous. And you're like, Spencer, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? How can being busy actually be my greatest asset? It doesn't make sense. Well, think about it. Your time is already super structured, dude. Right? Like, you go to work and you immediately open Outlook, and the first thing that you do, besides maybe check your emails, is you open up your calendar and you go, okay, cool, what are my meetings today? When's my first meeting? When's my last meeting? When can I go home? When's lunch? Do I have lunch? Is lunch being brought in today? You live by your calendar the second that you get into the office until the second that you clock out. Use that. Because with the right system, you can actually leverage that same exact structure that you use in the office to create consistency in your fitness routine without having to overhaul your entire life. You don't have to start from scratch. You don't have to start doing 2 hours of workouts twice a day. You don't have to start going to the gym 6 days a week. But using that same system of how you live by your calendar from 9 to 5 or 7 to 7, whatever it is, you can use that same system and apply it to your fitness journey. Schedule in time to work out. Schedule in time to do some meal prep. It's not that hard. And you're not too busy for it. You're just choosing not to do it. And ultimately, that's where most guys go wrong. They say they're going to lose weight, and they go off and they follow some cookie cutter plan they found online. Hell, at this point in time, 2024, you probably found it on ChatGPT. And the reality is it wasn't built for people who've never worked a real job in their lives. ChatGPT doesn't understand what corporate life is. ChatGPT doesn't sit in an office. ChatGPT doesn't have to deal with dumb people all day, every day. ChatGPT doesn't have their boss breathing down their neck. Hell, bodybuilders don't either, or most influencers. Most of the people that you're getting all this fitness advice from don't actually understand what you do on a daily basis. They've never been there. And so all these programs, the PDFs, the Excel spreadsheets, whatever the hell it is that you're following, they were not built for people that actually work a real job in the real world and have to balance all that around their lives, around their social life, around their family commitments. And they don't understand what it's like to juggle the responsibilities of that career and that family. They just don't get it. And that's fine. They don't have to get it. But when you're trying to lose weight, would you rather listen to the guy that had to go and sit in an office for 9 hours today and then commute home 2 hours? Or listen to the guy that sat on his couch sending DMs all day saying, here's how you can lose weight, bro? Choice is yours, really. And at this point in time, if you're still listening to me jabber on, I think you've made that choice that you want to listen to the guy that just sat in the car for 2 hours commuting home, not the guy that sat on his couch sending DMs trying to get some coaching clients before the end of Christmas. And these plans don't fail because you're unmotivated, right? It's never about motivation. Now, granted, motivation is bullshit, and we can dive into this in a complete and utter separate episode for probably an hour long. Motivation is bullshit. It's not that you're unmotivated. These programs and these plans and these nutrition systems, they fail you because they weren't made for you. They were not made for corporate life. That's not how this works. You can't just go online and ask ChatGPT for a nutrition plan and expect it to fit into your corporate life. How many times have you gone to the office, pulled up your calendar and gone, oh shit, we have a lunch and learn today? Cool. Now you got pizza coming in. Now you got Panera Box lunches coming in. And I'm not knocking Panera Box lunches. Those freaking cookies are delicious. But the reality is those things happen. And meal plans and nutrition plans don't account for that. They just tell you can't have pizza because pizza's bad for you. Well, pizza is basically like a rite of passage in corporate. Oh, you did really good this quarter. Pizza party. Oh, we don't have enough money for raises. Pizza party. I mean, I'm not knocking, but I mean, you guys see the memes. Like that's the running joke in like the corporate industry is like, oh, everything that you do, you know, instead of giving people more money or doing this and that, they're just like, oh, let's just have a pizza party. It's like, it's a joke, but it's kind of not depending on the company you work for and the industry that you're in. But that's the issue is like these plans that you find online, they're not built for you. They don't account for that pizza lunch. They don't account for lunch and learns. Nobody can because they don't understand it. They don't know what the fuck a lunch and learn is. I've had conversations with some of my mentors building this business. And I say the word lunch and learn and their face just glazes over. They're like, what? A what? Lunch and learn? Well, fuck, what's a lunch and learn? I'm like, oh, right. Sorry, forgot. You have no idea because you've never sat in a corporate office and had to sit for an hour-long presentation eating lunch of pizza or Panera and just had somebody kind of explain something to you and you're like, yep, cool. I've heard you every single year that you come into the office. I know your product. I appreciate the lunch, but I don't really need you here. And right now, that ultimately is probably why you might be feeling a little bit stuck. I know I felt that way. I was feeling pretty friggin' stuck for a long time because I was in the same cycle that you probably were, following those cookie cutter plans, trying to fit it in, trying to do the 2-a-days, and it just didn't work. So, you know, constantly losing the weight, then you gain it back. You gain back more. Then you lose some of it, then you gain it back, and next thing you know, you're 3, 4, 5 years down the line, and you're like, shit, I think I've actually gained more weight in the last 5 years trying to lose it than I did just actively focusing on trying to lose it forever. You start to feel really frustrated. And you're like, man, like nothing works. The amount of times that I've had guys tell me, like, I've tried everything and nothing works. Is it true though? And then ultimately you're just trying the last thing that actually took some weight off. I've worked with guys that have said, oh, I lost 70 pounds on keto. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. So like, how much are you looking to lose now? And they're like, well, like 90. And I was like, wait, what? And they're like, oh yeah, I gained 80 back. 80? So you lost 70, you gained 80. So you gained 10 pounds on keto. Yep. Basically what it came down to. And I'm like, okay. And so then we start working together and things start to slow down. Not stall, not go reverse, like slow down. And I hear I think I just need to do keto again. No, bro. You don't need to do fucking keto again, because what you're doing is you're going back to the last thing that gave you quick, immediate results, gave you that dopamine hit, that, oh, I'm losing weight, I feel good. But you're forgetting about the fact that you gained 10 pounds when you got off of it the last time. Which is why I keep saying you got to find something sustainable for your life. Because it's not about the last thing that helped you lose a pound or two. It's about the thing, the system, the process, the protocol, the blueprint, whatever you want to call it, whatever I want to call it, that is sustainable for you, so that you're not just losing weight for 6 months and then you put more weight on in the next 6 months. It's losing weight till you get to a goal, and then you can just achieve it and live that and be there and be okay and be comfortable. And I can tell you it works, because I've had guys come into the program, lose 30 pounds. We increase their calories for the next 6 months by 1,000 calories a day, and they gained 1 pound. Don't tell me the system doesn't work. It comes down to putting in the work and finding something that actually is sustainable. Because if I told you right now that in 6 months, this episode's going to air beginning of January. If I told you in beginning of June or beginning of July, you're going to be eating, I don't know, 1,000, 1,200 more calories per day than you are today, but you're only going to weigh 1 pound more, or you're going to weigh 15 pounds less, you'd probably be like, yeah, okay. Sure, dude. What snake oil you want to sell me next? Not bullshit, guys. I have proof. Guys are doing this. It's strategic. It's planned out. It's not just go add 1,000 calories tomorrow, but it's possible. It's not about the last thing that helped you lose a pound or two. It's about the thing that's going to help you lose the next 10 pounds forever. So you keep thinking that next diet or that next workout plan, that's going to be the one. That's going to be it. I just need one more. I need one more diet. I'm going to try carnivore next. The reality, guys, is nothing is going to change until you change the approach that you're taking on it. Straight up. I know that's harsh. That might hurt. That might hurt your feelings, and I'm sorry. But nothing is going to change until you change the approach that you keep taking. If you want to chase the dopamine, fine. Please, this far into the podcast, just stop listening. I appreciate you very much. I'm here for you if you ever need me. But if you're not willing to change your approach, you're just going to be chasing that dopamine. You're going to be chasing those 1 to 2 pounds every couple months, every couple weeks. You're just going to keep putting it back on. You're just going to be miserable. You're going to be frustrated. And eventually, one of these days, you're going to send me a DM. And you're going to go, man, listen to that podcast. And I said, fuck you, and turned it off. And 6 months later, I've gained 10 pounds, and I really need help. Cool. Let's help. Let's get it done. Let's figure it out. Because there's light at the end of the tunnel. There is light at the end of the tunnel, man. You don't need to overhaul your entire life or follow some incredibly impossible plan to lose those 30 pounds that are hanging over your belt right now. You just need to shift how you think about fitness and fat loss and working out and nutrition and dieting. The first step to success is not a new diet or some crazy workout plan. It's just understanding that you don't need to do all of it. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. I had a friend recently say this to me, and it constantly sticks in my head, and I always keep thinking about it. And it's that practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes permanent. So think about how you can just keep practicing the habits until they become permanent. It's not about being perfect. It's not about tracking your food every single day perfectly forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. It's just about being able to learn how to track your food and making it a permanent habit to be able to track your food, understanding how much you're eating. Being able to get to the gym, hit a workout this week. Maybe next week you hit 2. Maybe eventually you start working out 5 days a week. But it's just building up that practice, building up that permanent solution. Because practice makes permanent, not perfect. So I'm going to give you 3 quick wins that you can start with today. The first thing that I want you to do is commit to just 3 short workouts a week. These don't need to be 2-hour gym sessions, man. A simple 45-minute session, focus on compound movements, your squats, deadlifts, bench presses, rows, things that are going to hit multiple muscle groups are going to give you the biggest bang for your buck. Secondly, I want you to aim for 30 grams of protein in every single meal that you're eating. And you might be like, yeah, I do that. You don't. Trust me, you don't. Start to aim for 30 grams of protein in every single meal and ultimately aim for 1 gram of protein for your total weight loss goal. So if you weigh 210 right now and you're like, man, I want to be 185, cool. You should be eating 185 grams of protein every single day. Because protein keeps you full, it's going to support your muscle growth, and it's going to help stabilize your energy levels all throughout the day, which is critical when you're sitting in the office from 9 to 5 and you're in meetings from 9 to 5. Now, don't take this to just mean just downing like a tub of protein every single week or just pounding protein bars. You want to focus on whole foods first. And as I always tell my clients, try not to have more than 1 supplement a day. So whether that's 1 protein shake or 1 protein bar. Protein supplements are great to get your protein goals, but you should be focusing on getting them from things like chicken, lean ground beef, lean turkey. If you're vegan, tofu, seitan, things like that, you want to focus on whole food sources before you focus on adding in a protein scoop or a protein shake or a protein bar. And the third thing is start to take a 10-minute walk after you eat lunch. Pretty simple. Because that is going to be great for your digestion, which we all know our stomachs are completely wrecked for organic carb, right? It's going to help with your digestion. It's going to boost your energy levels for the rest of the afternoon because you're going to get outside. You're going to get some movement in. You're going to get some fresh air, some vitamin D. That afternoon onslaught is just going to be so much easier after you take that 10-minute walk because you're going to feel refreshed. You're not going to feel sluggish. You're not going to feel miserable. You're going to feel a little bit more refreshed. You're going to be a little bit more focused. And there is some proof to say that going outside and getting a quick walk, getting that fresh air is actually going to help you be a little bit more creative for the rest of the afternoon. And it's going to help you hit that step goal that you just keep telling yourself you're going to hit and your Apple Watch never tells you actually hit it. So without doing a whole lot more extra, you'll be able to hit your steps. And I can tell you that if you can manage that packed schedule and absolutely crushing your deadlines at work, you can lose that fat that's hanging over your belt right now. I promise. You just need a plan that's going to work for you. Most corporate guys fail in their fat loss journeys because they follow advice that was not designed for their lifestyles. They follow those bodybuilders, they follow those influencers, and they listen to their plans and their programs. Guys that live in the gym. So stop chasing perfection. Start focusing on what actually works for your schedule and your lifestyle. And ultimately, if you're ready to see how real corporate guys are getting real results, just DM me the word design on Instagram at Spencer H. Gallo, and I'll send you the best free resources that I have to help get you started. And remember, your health doesn't have to compete with your success. It can fuel it. So thank you very much for listening to Fitness by Design, and I'll see you next time.